Hey everyone, welcome to the Alex Waters Show podcast. I'm your host, Alex Waters. On today's episode, I chat with Brianna Throssell, who is an Olympic swimmer based here in Perth, 24-year-old, has won several medals at the Commonwealth Games, the international swim competition, and also runs a business called West Coast Dress Hire. Bit of a different conversation today. And Brianna was actually the first guest on the show that I had never met before. So, she came to the studio and we met, and then we got in and started chatting. So, I really liked where this went, and it was cool to really explore the different aspects of, kind of what goes into being an elite athlete, and just some different perspectives on life and all of that stuff. So, let's get into it. Brianna Throssell, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
That sounded very formal, didn't it? just launching with your full name. I'm really, really grateful for you to be here today. Yeah. So as I said before, you're actually the first guest on the podcast that I haven't met before. So this is a really cool experience for me too.
Yeah, I'm really excited to sort of be the first athlete and first person that you don't really know on the podcast.
Yeah. Have you been on any other podcasts before and interviewed a lot?
Yeah, I've been on a few podcasts, but they've all sort of been done over the phone. A few were done in COVID, so it wasn't really face-to-face. So this would be my first podcast sort of in a little studio, which is also quite exciting for me.
Yeah, cool. What, I reached out to you on Instagram because I was like, I want to find an elite athlete to come on the podcast. Obviously, you're a really successful swimmer and been to the Olympics, Commonwealth Games, all sorts of things. What prompted you? Because you were just like, yeah, sweet, I'm down for it. You just a yes person?
No, not typically. I'm quite a cautious person. But I sort of was having I guess things this year hasn't been the way I really wanted it. So opportunities that are arising in terms of podcasts or something where, I might be able to learn from it and, even get my name out there a bit more. I'm sort of just saying yes to those sorts of opportunities within reason, of course.
Sure.
But I do have a massive tendency to overcommit.
Okay.
So that's why I usually am on the more cautious side. But sort of during these quieter months with sort of not as much swimming, that sort of thing, I've tried to sort of jump at as many opportunities as possible.
Cool. So what does your usual schedule look like?
I guess right now would probably be the second week in the Olympics where all the swimmers are partying. So,
okay.
I guess our year is really, really different. I would, be on a break from swimming at the moment, which I sort of am, but not really for a particular reason. But in a usual sort of typical week, if the Olympics weren't on, I'd be swimming nine times, in the gym a couple of times, bit of Pilates, studying online and running a business.
Cool. What are you studying?
I study business, majoring in management.
Yeah, okay. So I read somewhere that you wanted to become a doctor. Has that changed?
Yeah, so I graduated from school and got an early offer into physio at Notre Dame, and I was pretty certain on doing physio, and then they offered the pre-med program, and I was like, oh wow, that's something, an opportunity that I'd like to sort of take on. So I was doing physio and pre-med, and it didn't quite fit in with my sort of swimming lifestyle. I'm away a quarter of the year, and it always falls in, the bulk of it falls in second semester. I was missing time off uni, I couldn't go to pracs, and I just sort of, my life principle is all or nothing. I'm 100% committed to something, or I'm not doing it at all. I can't do something half-assed. That's just not me. And I felt like I was leaving training early to get to uni because there's no online lectures at Notre Dame. I was sort of putting not all my efforts into one thing. And I do I'm not all just about swimming, but it was, the year before the Olympics, and I wasn't putting all my eggs in one basket, which I knew I needed to do. So I decided to defer a semester, which was a really good decision, and I could definitely see myself as a physio and enjoying it, but I also really enjoy sort of business and economics. Yeah. So after a month of not really studying, I was like, okay, I need to do something, on board. So I picked up business online. So I'm just doing a degree of business through Swinburne, and I love it. I really, really love it.
Awesome. What, At what point in your life were you like, cool, I'm gonna be an elite swimmer? Like, how does that even happen?
It's a pretty boring story. I've actually been swimming my whole life.
Yeah.
I guess as a child, my parents were really big on, water safety. And I think that's so important in Australia. We're huge on, the beach and swimming in pools in like the Australian culture. So yeah, my parents really drilled that from a young age. And I loved it. I love the water. Typically in a pool, like I never grew up on the beach. So I'm still quite scared of sort of deep water and waves now. Yeah. But yes, swimming in a pool I loved, and I just joined squads as a young child, and sort of just, it was a really, really natural progression. But I went to my first sort of open competition, which was 2012 Olympic trials.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like that was sort of the turning point in my life where I was like, okay, I wanted, because I was there to watch them announce the Olympic team on the final night for the 2012 Olympics. And I sort of said to myself, yeah, like 4 years' time, I want to hear my name being announced on the team. So that was sort of, wasn't the turning point, but it was the point which cemented that I really wanted to become an Olympic swimmer.
Yeah, sure. Cool. But how did you even get to that swim meet? Just someone like, you're really good, you should go to this competition.
I think it's always been enjoyment.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like swimming is one of the things where you can't be successful or take it to a really elite stage without enjoying it. Like the early mornings, the later evenings, it's a very, like, it consumes most of your lifestyle sort of thing. So I've always enjoyed it, and I loved racing. I loved training. I think I was 13 or 14 when I first got to travel internationally for it on my first junior team. And I guess that experience in itself is like a whole new thing. And every trip I did, national, international, it motivates you more and more. So I felt like it was just a really, I just became motivated every year when I, would make a new team. And yeah, I guess 2012 I was like, yeah, I want to be on the next Olympic team. And I worked towards 2016.
Yeah. And you made it.
And I made it. Yeah.
How did that feel? Like, what's that like?
Pure relief.
Relief.
Like, yeah, absolute relief. I guess for 4 years, I had my heart set on qualifying, and I knew I had one opportunity. Uh-huh. Like I'm fairly lucky now. Like I've kind of tried to diversify myself a little bit and target a few different events. But back in 2016, I knew I had the 200 fly to make it and to qualify, and that was it. And swimming's one of those ones where
200 fly being butterfly.
Yes, butterfly. Yeah,
it's swim talk.
And like how it worked at the trials was we had the heats in the morning, semi-final that night. So yeah, 16 were into the semi-final, and then another 8 the final night into the final. And unless you come top 2 and under the qualifying time on that final swim, you don't make it. So you've got one opportunity. Like you have 2 minutes and 6 seconds, or 2 minutes and 7 seconds, or something, to prove that you're worthy of being on that Olympic team. So
yeah, after 4 years.
So
wow.
That, like, it was utter relief to like turn around and see, like, they put the letter Q next to your name, as in like qualified. So to turn around and see Q next to my name, I was like, thank God. It was just a huge relief. Like excitement as well, but relief would have to be the biggest emotion.
And then you're like, now the work starts. Kind of, because you got to then prepare for the Olympics, right?
Yeah, it is. It's a different sort of work though. Like I feel like the pressure's almost off. If I was to say what's more nerve-wracking, Olympic trials, the Olympics, hands down Olympic trials.
Wow.
Oh, absolutely.
Because you didn't put pressure on yourself to like be a certain thing at the Olympics. You just wanted to do your best.
Yeah.
But getting into the Olympics, you like had to get into the Olympics.
Yeah. I mean, everyone is gunning for that spot. Like, 8 girls in the final going for 2 spots under a specific qualifying time. And I mean, even if I finished second and didn't make the qualifying time, they wouldn't take me.
Wow.
So it's really cutthroat. So I think even once you've qualified, like once you're on the team, the pressure, I find it relieves a bit. I mean, there's a different sort of pressure, like, Olympics, it's so exciting, but the actual like pressure on a specific race there's been nothing like it compared to Olympic trials.
Sure. How'd you get into butterfly? Because honestly, like I was a pretty good swimmer. I'm a reasonable swimmer.
Yeah.
I can't say pretty good sitting in the room as you with you, because like I'm not good in that respect. But like butterfly for me is the most uncoordinated thing ever. I can't figure it out.
Yeah, I don't know how I got into it either. I'm hypermobile in my shoulders, so I feel like that might have something to do with it.
Yeah, you can do the full arm reach. Yeah, okay. So did you see my arm movement?
Yeah.
My arms don't even go behind me.
So yeah, I think that might have something to do with it, but
yeah,
I can't swim breaststroke to save my life. I haven't done a breaststroke kick in 5 years, 6 years.
Wow.
So it's a strange thing that how people kind of find each stroke, or their stroke finds them, or you're a sprinter or a distance swimmer. I don't think anyone can explain why they swim a particular stroke. They just kind of do.
Just happen that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. I love it. And so, I think with what you do, it's like there's going to come a point where you've peaked and like have to kind of exit, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
How do you deal with that in your mind? Because someone else choosing a different career path could be like, well, I'm going to do that forever and I'm going to keep getting better over time. Yeah. What does that process look like? So
I've said to myself, 2024, like the Olympics and that, I'm done. I'm ready to walk away from the sport and I'll be content. Because I feel like swimmers almost have a tendency to sort of be a bit lost after sport because it does consume our lives. And I guess sort of growing up, through high school, through like uni, I've really tried to keep a huge balance in my life. And like, yes, swimming is my priority, but I've got other things going on which are also really important to me, so that when I do sort of finish, I'm not going to be lost. Yeah. But I've also put a time frame on that 2024, I'm out of the sport.
Yeah,
because
wow.
I feel like some people, well, I'm not saying it, people do, but you could potentially sort of drag it on and be like, I might make the team this year. And I'm just not ready to sort of, say 2025, if I miss the team, I've kind of wasted another year that I could have spent, I don't know, on St. George's Terrace or whatever it is. So I've put a cap on my career after the Paris Olympics, like fingers crossed I qualify, that sort of thing. Ready to open the next chapter of my life.
Mm-hmm. So the Olympics were supposed to be this year.
Yes.
I'm so oblivious to that.
They're meant to be on right now.
Like where and when? Where were they?
Tokyo?
Sorry. Oh, they were supposed to be in Tokyo.
Yeah.
That was this year.
I feel like that is common knowledge.
It is, but I feel like that was so long ago that we were talking about the Tokyo Olympics.
I know.
So
this is a blur, an absolute blur.
Yeah. No, I remember. I've heard about the Tokyo Olympics and stuff. I think it just got like lost in what's gone on this year.
Yeah.
But so are they planning to have one before Paris then? In Tokyo?
So they're scheduled for exactly 12 months later.
Yeah, cool. So you go next year.
Yeah, fingers crossed. But I feel like it's that kind of thing where I need to tell myself, and I am telling myself, it is going ahead. You can't kind of rock up to training thinking, they might be on next year, they might not, who knows? Like if they get a vaccine, they will. If they don't, I don't know. Like I think, like I know I need to commit wholeheartedly that yes, they're on. I can't do this like half-assed almost.
Yeah, I think we'll be traveling in a year. Yeah.
Oh,
otherwise, I'll be starting riots around. I mean, so you're talking about COVID, like it's kind of wiped out your whole season. Like what's that like? You just like gunning for it. Olympics is coming, and then.
It was a bit of a strange experience. I guess there was a lot of speculation about since like even end of February, start of March, we were a bit like, it's getting a bit strange. But I told myself, nope, it's going ahead. I don't want to, I need to continue training and doing the best I can. We actually went to Sydney and raced, and that was the weekend that like shit hit the fan. That was when the Formula 1 got cancelled. It was just that weekend where everything turned to mayhem. And like we rocked up to the pool to race and we're like expecting to hear over the PA system like, this meet's been cancelled, you all need to take a flight home now before like you be quarantined or you won't be let out. So I guess that was our last meet of the season, and I'm so thankful that we got through the meet, we got to race the 3 days and come home and everything was fine. So I guess we're really thankful for that. A few of the next meets have been cancelled. Like we're supposed to have nationals here in Perth, Open and Age, and they had been cancelled. And that was in April. Our trials weren't till June, so we were kind of like a bit of wishful thinking. Like they're going to can the ones in April, everything will settle down, we'll be good to go. And then it was a Monday morning, and I think we swam a couple of K, and we were about to hit the gym, and the hockey girls are in at the time. And they looked really emotional. They're kind of all hugging each other. It was a bit weird. No one did any gym. They walked out. And our mood was a bit mellow as well. And our our coach sort of said, look, guys, if you don't want to do anything, you're more than welcome to just sort of go home. Everyone's a bit sus. And I'm really good friends with one of the hockey boys, and and I knew that, oh no, the hockey girls told us that their season had been cancelled. And we're like, oh, that's very strange. So I text one of the boys I'm really good friends with, and I was like, look, I'm really sorry to hear your season's been cancelled. He's like, oh, Brie, like, it's not just hockey. I was like, well, what are you talking about? He's like, the Olympics are off. I was like, you're kidding. And then we got a text through from our swimming coach basically saying Olympics are done.
Wow.
So, yeah, it was a really emotional Monday. And, yeah, I cried a lot. But, yeah, I guess I needed to get that emotion out. And Tuesday morning, I quickly re-enrolled in uni and, yeah, reset some goals and move forward.
Yeah. That's very resilient, approach, I suppose.
Yeah. I think you kind of needed to be. I knew I needed to get that emotion sort of side out, and had a few drinks Monday night. But yeah, Tuesday it was kind of like, cool, okay, so what now? Like, what can I do to sort of fill my life now that there is sort of no swimming? So yeah, it's strange being told, look, guys, you won't be coming back to the pool for a while. It's really, really strange just being told that. But yeah, it is what it is, and I tried to just make the most of what I could.
You mentioned you had a couple of drinks that night. Would you have done that through the season? Like, what's your diet? No, so you're like, it's cancelled, I'm drinking.
Oh yeah, literally.
So you just don't, you don't drink alcohol at all?
Not much. So it's quite common for swimmers to do a really big stint of no alcohol. It's just kind of a thing that seems to that we sort of do. So I stopped drinking.
Why is that?
I don't know. I think it's a mental thing.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
What is it for you? Because you're choosing to do it.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I feel like I can get on the blocks and be like, I've trained hard, I've done this, I haven't drunk for 5 months. Like, not that I'm a big drinker at all, but I just feel like it's that 0.001% that's going to help me. Whether it does or doesn't, I don't know. But I feel good about doing it. So yeah, basically after New Year's, I stopped drinking. And yeah, I'll drink now on a Saturday night. I'll have a glass with dinner or whatever it is, because I can.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, if the Olympics, well, they're going ahead, so again, New Year's, I'll stop drinking until then.
Yeah. What are some of the other things that are the 1%ers that you do?
Sleep. Mind you, I feel like that's 10%. I feel like sleep is one of the biggest thing for me, in terms of recovery. I feel like a huge thing in swimming is being able to back up each session. Yeah. Not come in tired and fatigued, which is, you can't have a big Saturday night because that's going to, you're going to come in tired Monday, or you might be okay Monday, Tuesday, but come Wednesday, Thursday, you've kind of fallen into a heap. So sleep is a huge thing for me. And I know that my body needs a lot, and that is sort of how I'm going to be able to back up each session.
So how much sleep do you get?
I probably get about 7 hours a night.
Yeah, okay.
Which isn't a lot, but then I would have an hour, maybe 2 hours sleep during the day as well.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
Cool. At certain times?
Usually morning.
Yeah,
so
cool.
I'll go to training, come home, do a bit of a little bit of uni work or some admins, life admin stuff. Then I'll go to sleep and then wake up for lunch and study, and then go back to the pool.
Awesome. Do you find that you're tired, or it's just routine? So you just go lay down and you can fall asleep?
Bit of both. Yeah. I feel like once I've sort of had breakfast and done a little bit of, say, work or study, I feel like my body knows it's ready to just have a little sleep.
See, I feel like I would have some daytime naps, but I can't really justify it because I'm not training it's not that hard.
Yeah, I love a good daytime nap. I'm all for it.
Yeah, my son goes down in the middle of the day, so I mean some days I try and nap then.
Yeah.
But, so because I've just started tracking my sleep as well.
Yeah.
And the reason for that, I'm wearing this Whoop band, which I've spoken about before, is because I'd be in bed for 8 hours and kind of get up feeling like I had a pretty deep sleep, but I'd still be tired.
Yeah.
And then I started wearing this, and it's I'm only getting 1.5 hours of deep sleep and 1.5 hours of REM sleep. So my quality of sleep was really poor.
Okay.
Even though I was in bed for 8 hours.
Yeah.
And what it's told me is I need to be in bed for pretty much 10 hours a night to get 8 hours sleep.
Yeah. Okay.
So that was a huge wake up call for me.
Yeah.
Wake up call, going to sleep. But
yeah.
I mean, I think it's probably one of the like most underestimated things,
Oh, for
along
sure.
with drinking enough water.
Oh, yeah, I don't do that, and I should do that. I honestly won't touch my water bottle all training. I
Yeah.
won't take a sip. I don't know why. I guess because we don't like really feel ourselves sweat in the pool.
Yeah.
I
Do
literally.
you sweat in the?
Oh
you're
yeah,
sweating?
just as much as on land. Like
Yeah.
if you're working hard, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I
I've never swum that
will
hard
like.
before. So
I'll finish a session and I wouldn't have had a sip. I'm like, oh, whoops, did that again.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm shocking with water.
Well, I
Just
suppose your
shocking.
body is absorbing water through your skin to some
like-
degree, right? It's
Oh,
chlorinated.
It's chlorine
Yeah, is
water,
it not
like
good?
the
Not
worst
good.
thing for us.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I should drink more water. But yeah, sleep is definitely a
Yeah.
huge thing.
Cool. That's awesome. So, because I assume you're up pretty early to train. So, what time would you go to bed?
I'd like to be asleep by 9:30.
Yeah, and up by like 4:30 or something. 4:35.
Yeah, 5:30.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. I had some friends that used to swim, and they were through high school and stuff. They were always up at like 3:30 or 4 to.
I feel like when you're sort of in school, you got to be at school by 8:30. So like but now like we don't really have
Yep.
commitments like quite early on. So our schedule's kind of pushed back, so we're up at 5:30ish or 5.
Sure.
Depending on the day, sort of thing.
Yeah. One thing I noticed on your Instagram is obviously you're sponsored by YoPro, which is like a yogurt.
Yeah.
And it got me thinking about sort of your diet, because there's so much information saying this and one thing, another thing says this. I don't eat dairy, but I understand lots of people do and feel good about it. What's your, like, how do you make your decisions about what to eat?
I kind of live a really, really balanced approach. Like, don't get me wrong, biggest sweet tooth ever. So I think everything in moderation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm quite fortunate that, my tummy is okay with dairy, with gluten, with everything like that. I don't take any supplements at all, any protein, like protein powder, like whey protein, whatever that is. I don't take anything and I don't want to. Not like a little bit due to like cross-contamination, always nervous about, drug tests, that sort of thing. But a huge part is like I would prefer, this is just my personal opinion, I would just prefer to get my nutrients through food and through fruit and veg, through nuts, through legumes, whatever it is, rather than, and meat as well. Yeah. Rather than taking like a supplement or a protein shake. Number one, I think it tastes disgusting. And I'm really big on taste. And number two, I just prefer getting it through normal food.
So do you get a diet prescribed to you?
Oh, God, no.
No, you do it all by yourself.
Yeah.
So you have to like become an expert at kind of what's going to fuel your body the best.
Yeah, I guess like most of us have been doing it years now, and we know our bodies, if we're going through a really solid training block, we'll sort of up carbohydrates, up protein, that sort of thing. If like, we're on like a lighter week, we'll sort of dull down the carbs. Like we sort of understand what we need. I mean, there's always help and nutrition advice at our, like where we train at Wace, and they are incredible. Like if I wanted like a daily plan or a weekly plan, she would write one up for me. But I just feel like at this point in time, I feel like I'm mature enough and like I've got enough experience to be able to make reasonable decisions with my nutrition. We do have, not right now, but usually in like the bulk of the season, we do have skin folds once every 4 to 6 weeks. And, if they're up or down, they might have a conversation to us. But apart from that, I think they just trust our judgment. And if we went for help to them about something, they'd love that. But yeah, for the most of it, quite like lots of us just do sort of what we feel like we need.
Yeah, awesome. Cool. I mean, personally, like I'm 30 this year. I've just turned 30 this year. And I would say it's like probably the first year in my life I've really started to take ownership of really understanding what I need, like what my body needs, and starting to listen to my body a bit more. So it's been a fascinating journey.
Yep.
You talked a little bit about supplements.
Yep.
Do other swimmers take supplements?
Yeah. I guess quite a few. Yeah, girls and guys take protein, I think it's like a whey protein. So I think it's plant based. I think that's what, I don't really know much.
Whey protein's dairy.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You can get plant based protein as well.
Some of that, like just that kind of like protein, I guess, to aid in recovery. I think that's what the point is.
Yeah.
Some people take creatine for again recovery and to sort of gain strength or like muscle size. I do take caffeine. That's a huge thing I take. I'm really
Yeah.
bad with caffeine, actually. Really bad.
What do you mean by really bad?
Don't mind a few no-dos here and there.
Oh, yeah? Is that like pre-training? So like...
Yeah, because I
Yeah.
just, I don't really, like, a shot of coffee is really strong. And I don't want to have like milk or anything before I train. Like I'd rather not train with like a lot of liquid in me. Like water I don't mind, but like, you know, I don't want to train on like a glass of milk kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have a caffeine tablet because I know exactly I'm just taking 100 mils of caffeine and 100 milligrams, and that's it. So yeah, and then I also race with it.
Yeah,
And,
okay.
Yeah, and a lot of people race with sort of Chaos, I think it is, which is like a really, really heavily caffeinated sort of supplement.
Like a pre-workout type thing.
Obviously 100% legal, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't really take any of that stuff. I just have the no-dose tablet.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
And you mentioned about cross-contamination. So there is this kind of topic about,
Yeah.
obviously there's a bunch of illegal substances that you're not allowed to take and performance-enhancing things, but there are chemicals and substances in like normal everyday pharmaceuticals that you wouldn't be allowed to take that I can.
Yep.
And even, you know, probably in food, I don't know, maybe. So
yeah.
Like how do you manage your life like that?
Like let's take your typical cold and flu tablet. We can't have them there because it's got, is it pseudoephedrine in it, which is completely illegal.
Yeah.
So we take the kind of the PE version, which is phenylephrine. So basically we must be 100% accountable for everything that enters our body, and we know if we mess up, it's our fault. Like we are accountable for our actions. So I think all athletes are really, really cautious of what they put in, especially even just at your coffee shop or at a little juice cafe, like a protein bowl. I wouldn't go near that. I don't know what's in that or what protein that is. Is that protein batch tested? Just like really small things like that.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm paranoid, but I prefer to be safe than sorry, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I guess there's a few like apps and that sort of thing and websites where we can sort of put in like we're an athlete. This is the listed ingredients, or this is what I'm taking. Is it approved? That sort of thing, and we log. Say we take a specific type of protein for training, we log everything. We log it's like number, it's this, it's that. So if something does get flagged, we can track I don't know who tracks it, but they can look at everything we've taken and so it's like everything's traceable sort of thing.
Yeah. Have you ever had a scare?
No. I don't really take any protein or that sort of thing. So that doesn't really worry me. And then I'm just really paranoid about sort of what I like little protein balls or that sort of thing when I'm out or eating at a cafe or whatever.
It's crazy. I mean, I can't imagine like having to be that careful, but
yeah, it's something I really look forward to when I'm finished swimming. It's like I just want that peanut butter ball. Like all I want is that. So I can't. Oh, it's not that I can't wait, but it's something that like I wouldn't mind not to have that little like thing in the back of my mind. Like really a bit cautious about what I put sort of in my mouth. So yeah, I look forward to that for when I finish being an athlete.
Yeah, and we spoke about just before we spoke about your friend Shayna Jack, who's also another elite swimmer.
Yeah,
and she was sent home from Korea last year.
Yeah, last year. Yeah.
Basically had a test come up positive for something.
Yeah.
Like, do you know sort of what happened there? Because obviously it appears to me it was just like a total accidental.
Yeah. It seems that it's something that she had something in it. I guess like
she doesn't know.
No.
Yeah. So that's crazy, isn't it? Like even she's just not.
Yeah, and I think it's made a lot of people a lot more aware of, oh man, like okay, I should really check, what food I'm eating and what sort of where it's from, what's in it, just that sort of thing. I know I've been a lot more, not diligent, but I've been a bit more cautious of sort of, where it's come from, just that sort of thing. Like you just never know. So yeah, it was a bit of a wake up call, I guess, for athletes.
Yeah, sure. And I suppose like with what you do, you're training for, as you said, 4 years, between each Olympics.
Yep.
For kind of the like 90 seconds, 2 minutes.
Yep.
That really count.
Yeah.
So you said that you don't actually feel like the Olympics is as much pressure as the Olympic trials.
Yeah.
But how does that feel? Like, how does that feel? Just have everything that you've worked on for the last 4 years kind of come down to this one moment?
I guess it's really hard when you don't perform in that moment. Yeah, I think that's the hardest thing. But I guess when you do perform or you are happy with the result, it's like, oh man, that was so worth it. But I also know that I love stress and I love being put under the pump, and I love just having a busy schedule and being really highly strung. That's kind of how I live my life. So it kind of works in my favor. Like I get to sort of race day and I'm like, oh, you know, everything right now counts. Like for, you know, the past 4 years comes down to this moment. It's like I really enjoy sort of pressure and stress, and I feel like
you framed that positively in your mind that like it's race day and you're just like, I'm here for it.
Yeah.
I'm here for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I turned that into, I guess, like nervous excitement energy sort of thing, rather than seeing it as just pressure or just nerves or anxiety. I prefer to look at it as like, you know, I put in so much work for this moment, like, let's go.
Mm-hmm. What do you do like before a race? Is there like, are you listening to Metallica or something?
No. It really depends. It depends what race I'm doing and what the sort of the group of athletes that are doing the same race are doing. Some people love to chin wag, and like I just have like such a yarn with them before the race, and that's really relaxing.
Yeah.
Some girls
with your competitors.
Yeah.
So
especially at a national level.
Yeah.
Like where everyone's really good friends. Like so Olympic trials kind of thing. Like, you know, everyone will be really good friends in the marshalling room. That sort of thing. But I guess internationally everyone's there speaking a different language. Like it's quite different. Yeah, I mean, you got the Americans that, you know, you could have a chat to, and like everyone sort of knows everyone, so you could have a little chat, but they kind of stick to themselves. And yeah, the Chinese don't really like, you know, talk to many people, and so yeah, everyone sort of sticks themselves on internationally, which is good and bad. So maybe in that instance, I prefer to have a bit of music in just to like zone out a bit, because I guess when I do talk at a national level, we talk about something completely different, like just not really swimming related. It's more of a distraction, I guess.
Yeah.
So I'd probably listen to music as more of a distraction rather than to get me amped, because I feel like I'd be sort of like nervous and like ready enough to go as it is.
Yeah.
So the music's more just like just zone out.
Just like any kind of random playlist.
Yeah.
You don't have a specific
usually something
song.
just like upbeat, like happy, upbeat. That would kind of describe what I'm like, pop, I guess, which is like super white girl. But anyway, something like that, just to sort of listen to.
Yeah, cool. And I suppose is there anything else that like goes into that moment, or just like laser focus? Like you're on the block. Butterfly starts in the pool.
No.
So I should know that.
Backstroke starts in the pool because they go
right.
backwards, then the rest start on the block.
It's been like 4 years since I watched any swimming, which was the last Olympics. So
no, I usually always like, I'm quite big on getting my nails done. So like usually when I get on the block, like obviously like our heads are kind of over our nails and our toes. I'm like, yes, like, I'm so glad I got my nails done.
Yeah.
So that's usually probably my last thought before I dive into the pool, which is a bit of a distraction. But yeah, I guess it's like something I see. I'm like looking right at. So I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah. And you've got like a spearmint jumper and spearmint nails. So is that
no, that's not.
Is that one of your favorite colors?
I do really like this color, but it's not coordinated. I'm not like that. But
it'd be totally be cool if you did. It's actually one of my favorite colors as well.
Yeah, it's like Tiffany blue.
Is that what it's called? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Of course it is.
I don't know. I reckon we could roll with that.
Yeah.
I like this color a lot. It reminds me of the beach.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, with like warmer weather, like sunny vibes.
Yeah.
Which is like what I'd wish for right now.
Yeah. Wow. So, it is a nice day outside.
I know. Oh.
Lucky Perth turned on the winter for us.
Yeah.
Like going back to the sponsorship thing. You've obviously, like, a big part of being an athlete is finding a way to finance your sport, right?
Yeah.
So you've kind of had to become a bit of an expert at your own personal brand and creating those opportunities. How do you go about that? Because you're sponsored by what? Speedo?
Speedo and YoPro.
Yeah.
And I've been signed with Speedo for 4 or 5 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And I've, again, signed for next year, which is really exciting. And I've been with YoPro. This is my second year with YoPro now. And I feel like a huge part of what I try to do is to be brand loyal. like if Chobani has approached me and said, hey, do you want some stuff? I'm like, sorry, I'm with YoPro. Like I'm very big on being loyal to that brand. There's no point in chopping and changing every year because no one wants to like genuinely sponsor you. They might just give you a bit or some free product for a year, but in the end of the day, that's not really helping you. I mean, everyone loves a free product, but like at the end of the day, you want to establish like a good relationship with a brand or a company, and you help them, they help you. So I've been with Speedo and YoPro for a couple of years, and they're so fantastic, and I love what they do, and how they treat their ambassadors and that sort of thing.
How did that come about? Do you have a manager who sets it up? Did they just approach you?
Yeah, so that they all both approached me. I don't have a manager at all. I sort of just pick and choose sort of what I do. I guess like a part of it is being quite savvy and not, jumping at every bloody DM you get like, hey, you want a free pair of leggings for a post? Like that's not clever.
Yeah.
Like, they're also messaging 1,000 other girls in Perth or 1,000 other girls in Australia, giving them a free pair of leggings. Like, and then, so I don't reply to a lot of stuff because I feel like, you kind of got to stick with your gut, and, I love Speedo, I love YoPro. So why do I want a free pair of leggings or a free pair of bikinis to post on my socials? Like, what am I benefiting sort of from that? So that's sort of how I look at my brand, I guess.
Mm-hmm. That's a really strategic way to think.
Yeah.
That I don't think a lot of people have that naturally.
No.
What is that for you? Like, where's that come from?
Oh, I don't know. I guess like with my social media, it's a lot about like who I am and my brand and that sort of thing. But I also want it to display like, there's nothing worse than going through someone's Instagram and just seeing they're plugging something in every single photo. So I really try sort of talk about what I do in my life. Like I do a bit of swimming. I have a dress high business. A bit of YoPro. I might be out with friends at the beach. A bit of training footage, just like little aspects of my life which are all true, rather than every single post just being a stage post that I'm having to do because I received a free product. Like, I'm really big on sort of my social media reflecting what my life's actually like, which is like really like my life's super stressful, not gonna lie, but it also like is a lot about every little aspect which I try to do, whether it's going for a walk with a friend, going to breakfast. Like I'm huge on brunch, and that's often on my social media is like eating pancakes or cooking. I love doing like baking. So I guess I try keep sort of my social media as real as possible, showing like every aspect of my life.
What's a brand out there right now that you'd love to have sponsor you?
Oh, Lululemon.
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, we should try and hook it up.
Or PE Nation. PE Nation or Lulu. I would do anything.
Yeah.
Because or Jagged. I live in there.
Jagged.
That's the thing. Like I feel like you actually have to. There's no.
I know some people at Lulu.
Oh really?
I'll see if I can set it up.
There's no point in signing with someone you don't agree with the product.
Yeah.
Like I train in Speedo bathers. I race in Speedo bathers. I eat YoPro bars. I eat yogurt. I wear head to toe either PE, Jagged or Lulu. Like I support that lifestyle. So that's another thing about marketing and sort of sponsorships is there's no point in signing with something that doesn't really reflect what you're about.
Yeah.
So I'm big on signing with something that you agree with their values and their vision, and it aligns with your sort of lifestyle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it totally makes sense. Because otherwise it's not really an opportunity, is it?
No.
Like you're just selling yourself to get some stuff.
Yeah. Free pair of shoes or
Yeah. I love that. It's like just getting really clear on what's important. And what's important to you and following that.
Yeah.
You mentioned, you love a stressful, like being highly strung.
Yeah.
You don't appear to me to be highly strung, but
Oh, really?
Yeah. So what do you do? Like, do you meditate? Are there things that you do to kind of have your downtime?
Not really. I just I feel like honestly from the moment I wake up, it's like replying to all the DMs on West Coast Dress High, like sorting out the girls, that sort of thing. To the moment my head hits the pillow, like unless I have a sleep, I just don't stop. And then, but I know that when my head hits the pillow at night, I'm knackered, I'm out like a light.
Sure.
So, like,
so you're not up at night, like you can't
no,
sleep. 'Cause
never.
you just sleep well because
Yeah,
you've
really
worn
good.
yourself out.
Yeah. And I don't know if that's good. I don't know if it's bad, but it's sort of just,
It's working.
I feel like, yeah, it's much like our family though. You know, it's kind of just like go, go, go. Bedtime at night, head hits the pillow, we're out. And it's kind of just been like that since day dot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I maybe, you know, once sort of I finish swimming, that sort of thing, I don't know if I'll struggle sleeping. But I guess like I'm kind of tired from exercise and that sort of thing. So I feel like that really helps being able to just be out like a light every night. But yeah, I'm not sure what it's going to be like after swimming. It might change, but might need to add some meditation there or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, for now, yeah, I just like jam pack my days and yeah, get really stressed and then go to sleep.
That's so good. Well, I love that. Yeah, if it works, it
Yeah.
works. Like that's the thing. I think there's some magic in that. Like maybe, I mean, I've definitely noticed my sleep is way better when I'm exercising hard at the gym.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I can kind of get to bed and I feel like I've got all this energy still.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter how much I meditate.
Yeah.
You know, if my body's just like
Ready to go.
Yeah, exactly. Have you had any like major injuries or anything like that you've had to deal with?
No, I've been really lucky with injury. Oh, actually, just before Commonwealth Games, I'd made the team for Commonwealth Games. We'd like been to trials and came back, and I injured my ankle, but it was a really strange injury. Like I didn't do anything to it. It was just obviously like we kick all the time, and it was just a bit of synovitis, which I kind of thought would settle, and it didn't. And it's just it lingered for so long. I was on one of those tablets called naproxen or naproxen, which is like a really strong anti-inflammatory. I was on it for months, which is so bad for like your tummy and that sort of thing. And I just didn't settle. And I remember training. I was swimming so badly in the lead up to Commonwealth Games, like so badly. I remember like 2 days before, I was like, is there even a point in me going? Like my ankle was like a balloon. Couldn't settle it down.
Wow.
Needed to train because obviously Commonwealth Games were in a week or 2 weeks. Yeah, and then at that moment, like when I got to Commonwealth Games, I really realized, because I've never really had an injury or an illness before, as soon as you get on that block, you won't feel a thing.
Yeah, so you went and your ankle was still like a balloon.
Yeah.
And you swam.
Yeah, and it was one of my best meets ever.
Yeah. Those are the ones that you won, like the gold medal and the bronze. And
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
That's so insane. I love that.
It was, correct. Yeah. And then I came home and had a cortisone. And he just sorted that issue out.
Yeah.
But yeah, at the time I didn't have time to have a break just to let it rest.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just trained and raced through it.
Just the power of the mind.
Yeah, honestly. Yeah. When I got behind those blocks and I dove in, I did not feel a thing, which was so good.
Were you worried about it as you're standing like
No.
You just zoned out?
Yeah. My focus wasn't on that, which was good.
I love that. Like I've been reading, I read, I don't know if you've heard of a guy named David Goggins. You heard of him?
No.
I think you'd resonate with him a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like a former Navy SEAL.
Yeah.
Did heaps of crazy shit, like ran a marathon with broken legs.
Oh, yeah. I bet he didn't feel it. Like,
he talks through it and he's like, by mile 20, he didn't feel it.
Yeah.
Like he was good. And he ran one of the best times and qualified for like the Boston Marathon and stuff.
Yeah, it's literally power of the mind. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, but that's the only sort of injury I've ever had, which is really good, touch wood.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I love that. I mean, it's just so fascinating. I mean, a lot of people would let that stuff crush them. But for you, it seems to me like your default is just, no, I got it. I'm just going to keep going forward.
Yeah.
So at what point in your life did you cultivate that?
In terms of
like that energy or like that way of thinking?
I feel like it's almost like family values. Like I've just always been brought up like that. Like, okay, that's a little bit of an issue. How are we going to work around it? What's plan B? Just that sort of thinking.
Yeah.
Rather than being like, oh man, like, this is really going to bug us things up. Like I think we've got just always been like, even our extended family is just super, super optimistic. Like a small issue arises or, say when Olympics were cancelled, I studied in trimesters and we were 4 weeks into this trimester and enrollment, like census dates 2 weeks in. I was like, I could have been like, well, I definitely can't get in. There's no point in even me trying. I was on the phone. I was emailing like 3 different people, being like, look, can you like try pull some strings here? Like, I would do any way to get back in, like to re-enroll, to enroll in uni into week 4, which is like well past census date.
Mm-hmm.
Just that sort of like, I don't know, just trying to make the most of a not so good situation.
Yeah. Like there's always a way if you're prepared to make a way.
Yeah.
Make a way out of no way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even if like it might not be your desired way, but you know what, it's still something. Or a different direction, but you're still moving forward.
So your parents were like a big influence around that.
Yeah, yeah. And like grandparents and
your parents sound awesome.
Yeah. So I guess like that's sort of how both my brother and I probably think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What does the rest of your family do? Are any of them like athletes? And
No. So my parents are both dentists.
Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
but I guess like the reason it's so like we live such busy lives is so we used to live in the hills. They had their surgery in the hills and in Mount Lawley. Somehow they were running both, like Dad might be in the hills, Mum might be in Mount Lawley. They'd somehow get us, my brother and I, who was at Guildford Grammar at the time, and I was at Perth College, so like Guildford and Mount Lawley, us like 2 training in the morning, back to the hills to work, up from like honestly, their organisational level must have been insane. Like, looking back on it, I don't know how they did it and how they got like when my brother and I weren't driving, how they got us from A to B to C to D.
Yeah.
Like Dad and I'd be up at 4:30. He'd take me to training in the morning, go back up to the hills to start work. Mum would like pick me up from training, take me to school. Then she's like, it was crazy.
Wow.
So yeah, I feel like a lot of that has sort of stemmed from my childhood and just how busy but organised our whole family was.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I'm super thankful for, everything they've done and sort of the opportunities that they've given us. They could have easily said, look, Brie, we're really tired this morning. We're not going to be able to take you to training. Like they could have so easily said that, but they never did.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess I'm really thankful for that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
They sound like amazing parents.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the kind of parent I want to be. Yeah. Like just, like you're never too tired for your kids.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like always make time.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well, I've really, really enjoyed this conversation. So thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
One question I always finish off with, what do you find most interesting about yourself?
Oh, God. I need a pre-warning about this. That I think I love to be stressed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is pretty weird.
Yeah.
And
it's
interesting.
Strange. Yeah. And I get stuff done being stressed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I think,
awesome.
it's a bit weird. Yeah. I'm going to roll with, I love being stressed.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah. Awesome. Like I said, I mean, if it's working, that's great.
Yeah.
I kind of wish I think I'm going to take on some of that and like wear myself out more. So that by the time I get to sleep, I'm just like dead. Yeah. And out for a solid 8 hours.
I don't know if it's a healthy thing. I really don't know. So I wouldn't go around recommending it.
Yeah. Cool.
But yeah, I think, that I love to be like stressed and just super busy.
Yeah. Awesome. And obviously we haven't really mentioned it much, but you've got a dress hire business.
Yeah.
Which you're running, which is called West Coast
Dress Hour.
Yeah. Amazing. So for anyone listening, feel free to go and check that out, and I'll add all your socials at the end as well.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me on the podcast.
Yeah, we'll speak to you soon. That's all for this episode. Don't forget to hit subscribe. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast. Check out the links below. You'll be able to find more on Brie and more about her business as well, and what she's up to, as well as connecting with me on Instagram and in any other way you want to. So that's it for this show. I'll see you next week.